this is the title. I call it Pride and Priorities of Digital Multimodal Composing Research. Well, today I'm going to cover three things. So I would like to begin with a definition and then some examples drawing on existing works. And then I'm going to talk about the so-called pride. So and then my primary purpose is to focus on draw your attention to the priorities or similar to a kind of research agenda thing, what we can do in the coming years. Okay, I want to move this around. Okay, sorry. So and then I hope that there will be time at the end of the seminar for some interactions. I will try my best to finish the talk in 40 minutes. To begin with, so definition sorry. Okay, this is kind of annoying since I can't move. Okay, sorry, forget it. So this is a kind of formal definition to what we mean by digital multimodal composing. This is a snapshot I took several years ago, not really several, maybe several months ago. But now if you Google it with this keywords, you will get new set of definition for this. It will link to a publication in ELTJ that I published in 2017. So it is something that can be regarded as a textual practice, involves digital tools to produce tests by combining different semiotic modes. Happened to be the one to define it like this in 2017. And then after that, other scholars also define it in similar ways, but with slightly a bit different focus. Take Mimi Lee's definition in her monograph in 2021 example. So I highlight in color red. So we need to pay attention to new audience and also new genres. So this is a new literacy practice oriented towards new genres and also new audience. And then in the coming years, anyway, so since 2017, over the years, less than a decade, so including Victor Lin and Crystal Hoffner also define it in quite similar ways. And so now I hope you kind of have a basic understanding about what we mean by digital multimodal composing. So it's a new literacy practice, and it mainly defines digital literacy practice from social semiotic perspective. And we have different examples, including video composing, ebook making, and different forms of multilingual digital storytelling. These are getting more and more popular and omnipresent in today's communicative landscape. After definition, so I would like to talk a bit about, why we need DMC research. So theoretically, this is really grounded in multimodality and social semiotic studies. So here I reference to James Gees, a key member of the New London group, remarks about the main feature of contemporary world as a multimodal world. And also this is a very important linkage to multiliteracy issues. So theoretically, there's a very important need for us to be responsive to this kind of change in contemporary communication. And then practically, this is how I see the value and necessity for more research on DMC because of COVID-19, because of the emergence of Gen AI and some other new forms of technologies we don't know yet. So there accompanying that, so there's a set of issues and problems, including digital divide, digital poverty issues due to Gen AI, and also on the other hand, we have the emergence of new forms of cyber genres and also increased diversities. So how to respond to this kind of landscape? for me, my personal interest will be in digital multimodal composing. I think this really holds a great potential for us to respond to this kind of communicative needs. Sorry. So, and then academically, in terms of language and literacy practice, so obviously there's a paradigmatic shift. So there's a shift in reconceptualizing writing as multimodal composing. And also over the years, we can see gradually there's emergence of digital multimodal composing as a domain of inquiry. So obviously, I can see there's a growing interest in this research area, research lines. So of course, there are many issues to be settled. So let me now give you a very quick overview about all the major special issues published in the field. It started with Christopher pioneering works with TESOL Quarterly as a symposium in 2013. And then following that, there's a special issue by early Professor Murray Kendrick in 2015. And then there's another one by Ron Dovin and Christopher again on digital literacies relating to a lot of works on digital literacy and multimodal composing. And then in Journal of Second Language Writing also, we can see several special issues and dialogues as well. And the most recent one, this is edited by Dr. Victor Lin and his colleagues with computers and composition, talking about AI. Okay, so I think this is going to be very exciting special issue. So we can see scholars in the fields really advancing this line of inquiry. So I really look forward to this. So so over the years, as you can see, I can see, well, there's a gradual evolution of DMC scholarship. Okay, so from timeline, I think the earliest works in this area can be attributed to Howard Nelson's works and also Christian Tardy's works in 2005. And then gradually along the years, roughly 2 decades, right? So, and then Victor's more recent the forthcoming special issue. So these are the scholars contributed directly to DMC. They published with this name, directly DMC. So this is Victor. I think it's kind of gradually taking shape, if I can say so. Underlying all those empirical works on DMC, this is my summary of the kind of conceptual trajectories in terms of conceptual frameworks that informs the DMC research and work. So there are 4 major approaches of perspective, including multimodal, social cultural, cognitive, and critical. I don't have time to go into details, but I think well, all this perspective can be credited to this founder figure, okay, Professor Gunther Krest, who laid up the foundation for all the works that in particular for this line of inquiry. So, well, over the years, so in terms of what DMC research can inform and also tell us in relation to language and literacy learning, well, we have some very excellent and also comprehensive overview of what has been done. So this is a word that I would like to draw your attention to about by Blaine Smith. It's a review on DMC in secondary classrooms, mostly in L1 context. We can see from these keywords, right? So this is the affordance of DMC. Now I package it as the pride of DMC research. So if you do this in classrooms now, teachers can reap benefits in these areas, right? So moving to the Chinese context, I'm joined on my own works, published in 2017. That's what so also, I have collected empirical evidence clearly reference to these affordances in different aspects. So, and these affordances can contribute to different areas of language learning, achievement, and performance. But of course, there many refers to those motivational and affective benefits. Okay, so definitely this is something that really worthwhile and we can try in language and literacy education. And also later on, so this Victor's works also clearly showed this, right? So with DMC as a digital literacy practice in contemporary landscape, so there will be spaces for students and children to showcase and also to manifest, to demonstrate their creativity, critical thinking, and semiotic awareness. Okay, so these are the benefits or the things that we desire, we really value, we want our students to achieve. And then now with DMC, we can make this possible. Okay, so this are basically what we can do. And then there's another line of pride. Though I really want to draw your attention to is the possible relevance and benefits of DMC research for kind of digital literacy or digital citizenship development. And this is a study which shows clearly that nowadays, particularly at the time of crisis, so with DMC now students or contemporary youth, they got new avenues to participate in this civil world as digital citizens. So as you can see from these figures, you can see that with DMC, this contemporary youth, they can kind of popularize the academic discourse into the layman discourse. With the form of a video, which can be viewed by a larger number of authentic audience. Okay, so and also can be very influential and can kind of have the value of popularizing scientific discourse of necessary medical knowledge for people to stay safe at a time of COVID-19. So this is something very significant. Then, so after the definition, the price, I think I have presented an overview of what we mean by DMC and what can DMC do in terms of language and literacy education. So this is a young domain of inquiry. So I personally feel, well, research has to be going on. So looking to the near futures, there's a important need for us to be forward looking, of course. So I'm going to focus on the third part. So in the coming years, what needs to be done? Well, my vision for the priorities of DMC research in the coming years is mostly grounded in the existing systematic review and also the analysis of existing studies already published by Mimi Lee and her student, I guess, and also by Lim and Kessler by these works. So for me, of course my focus will be on what remains controversial in the field, and also I feel what appears to be under-researched. So as you can see in my mapping of the priorities, I do not really focus a lot on students' perspective and students' perceptions, and also multiliteracy development, because I think those are already nicely summarized in these works. So I focus on what remains controversial and also what remains to be further researched on. That means that's currently receive inadequate research attention. So I summarize these areas in relation to DMC pedagogy, assessment, and critical aspects of DMC. So altogether, there will be 7 lines of research and inquiries that I really would like to encourage more and more researchers to pay attention to or to join the collective research efforts. So currently, well, these priorities are now under review. I hope it can be out soon. So, but I'm not sure. So, wish me good luck. Anyway, so now let's get started with the first one, DMC pedagogy. So, the first priority relates to the most controversial issue in the field. Over the years, there's been debate about the value of DMC, but in particular to L2 writing. So there's a bunch of scholars criticize that. Okay, so DMC is only for fun, right? It's entertainment oriented, so it will distract students' attention from L2 writing, from language. Well, on the other hand, we also witnessed a number of scholars who contributed empirical evidence to show that DMC does have some linguistic benefits in relation to L2 writing performance and development. However, existing research is sometimes inconclusive. Okay, sometimes some study reports significant difference, while some others report insignificant differences. Okay, so, and also the effect size is very small. Okay, and also the sample size is quite limited. So to move forward, I do feel a very important need for more research to focus on this area. That is to explore the linguistic benefits of DMC, so that we can have more solid evidence with larger effect size to prove the effectiveness of DMC in promoting L2 writing development in particular. In terms of conceptual framework and research method, I feel replication studies can be quite helpful. Okay, so these are the studies I can recommend for future researchers who are really into this area. So in terms of conceptual framework, I think these studies offers very important points of references for us to conceptualize the possible conduciveness of DMC in relation to L2 writing, including like revision, vocabulary acquisition, and also like composing across media. That means transmedia, meaning from text-based writing to digital multimodal composing. And also, so this learning transfer theory underlined there, so can help us to conceptualize the composing process. And also, there was series of cognitive process of your writing can also be referenced too. And this is a study by Professor Kim Yoji and Diane Belcher. I think this is a very nice study and contributing very strong evidence to show the benefits or the effectiveness of DMC in relation to L2 writing. And I feel replication studies like this can be done in different contexts so that we have more solid evidence for this. So this is the first one. And the second one, I would like to draw attentions to task design. So specifically, this refers to DMC task design. Because in my understanding of the literature, well, DMC task design is very complex, but it's least understood. And well, there are different permutations of different tasks. And so, and also, after the emergence of Gen AI, right? So we have a new dimension and also a new set of challenges. Whether and how Gen AI can be part of, or if it can be incorporated into DMC tasks, when, how, at what stages, right? So I think these are very important questions to explore. And also let's explain perhaps why Victor proposed a special issue on this. So in terms of how, of course, conceptual framework will be needed. And then I also recommend a large-scale survey across different classroom contexts to review potential discipline-specific elements. Evaluation studies of different kinds of tasks with experimental intervention design will also be needed. So specifically, I feel conceptual framework like this can be synthesized based on existing literature. So this is from my collaboration with Christopher's work is currently under review. So I feel DMC task is really multifaceted and it's multidimensional, and we need to take these dimensions into account, and then relate it to learning outcome. So we know the efficacies of DMC task design for particular group of learners under particular set of contexts. And also, I would like to draw your attention to this study just recently published, Lawrence and his students. Okay, a very interesting study comparing students' cognitive process in Gen AI-assisted DMC and traditional writing. I think more works like this can be planned and designed. So, and this offers a very good example for us to have some basic understanding about how AI can be incorporated into DMC task design, and then how that may influence students' cognitive processes. The third priority, I'm aware of time. I still have like roughly 15 minutes to go, so I think I can be on time. Priority number 3 is L2 teacher education. Why this? I like this image actually. It's called keep calm and carry on. Because a lot of teachers, well, in my own research experience, you know, when frontline teachers first exposed to DMC, normally their first response will be no, this is something too difficult beyond the scope of a language curriculum. So they feel unprepared, underprepared, and also not really confident. So a lot of resistance going on there. And also, sorry, we don't really know what dimensions of teacher expertise will be needed, in particular when it comes to DMC implementation in education. So we don't know their perception and their perceptions of their ability to use this, as well as their actual ability and their perceptions of their own multimodal competence, as well as their actual competence. So I think they're super important, because if DMC is to be integrated into L2 pedagogy, then of course L2 teachers and L2 writing teachers, they needs to be prepared, right? So, but DMC, the expertise to do DMC is kind of missing in current literature on teacher expertise. So this leaves a very important research niche for the future research endeavor. And then to move the field forward, I feel, of course, we need to conceptualize what we mean by the target competencies and the target expertise for L2 teachers to learn to use DMC, right? And of course, we can reference back to theories of multimodality to conceptualize such a kind of teacher expertise. And then in terms of research methods, we can focus on action research, case study, or and then we can focus on 1 or 2 teacher education programs or different teachers. Some starting point to consider, I would like to reference to my own study on teachers' engagements with DMC in the Chinese writing curriculum context. So these 2 studies, you can report the factors and also the challenges, teachers' coping strategies in response to those challenges when it comes to using DMC in their classrooms. This can offer some starting point for us to consider how teachers' expertise in using DMC can be further expanded. And also, I would like to draw attention to this professional development model when it comes to using DMC for teaching digital literacies. Okay, so if you're interested, please take a read at this article, and I welcome your critique and comments. So Based on my research experience, I do feel DMC offers a kind of avenue for L2 writing teachers and L2 teachers, EF teachers in general to develop their expertise in relation to new literacy teaching. Okay. And I feel this is possible, but of course this needs to be validated in different contexts, such as Singapore. Singapore already play a leading role in this field. Okay, and number 4, I would like to draw attention to feedback issue. Okay, feedback on DMC. When it comes to feedback on DMC, basically we can find very few studies, very little literature in this area. So I feel it is really important for us to understand, because DMC as a activity is increasingly commonplace in contemporary classrooms, right? So this is what's already happening in reality. But the issue is, when it comes to feedback giving from L2 writing teachers on students' DMC, normally we will see our teachers often replicate what they do to students' writing. And then they migrate those kind of feedback practice to multimodal conversations, right? So that may be problematic, right? So we don't really know. So, well, to what extent that writing teachers should engage with language, and also how they balance the focus on language and also on multimodal composing aspect, right? So and also we need to understand what makes it so difficult for some teachers to go beyond their feedback on language issue, linguistic issues only, right? So I feel this is really important and promising. I do welcome more research along this line of inquiry. So in my understanding, well, we can conceptualize, right? The relevance of prior DMC assessment models and then existing L2 writing feedback models for feedback on DMC. And these are the specific research methods. So how to research on DMC feedback, right? I would like to share some starting points referencing to Christopher and Jennifer's work. This is a well-known process-based model towards evaluating DMC. So I think at least this process-based model offers a starting point for teachers to see when they can give feedback, right? Okay, so at what stage, right, the feedback can be helpful or things like that. On the other hand, I would also like to draw your attention to this genre-based model. So to evaluate, I think this genre-based model offers a good starting point for L2 writing teachers to feedback on different aspects of students' multimodal composing. Actually, there are 5 aspects, including the purpose, the base layer, the layout layer, the navigation, which is layer, and the rhetorical layer. So it is really feasible and practical, and teacher. Well, but I don't know. This is just my guess, right? So we need to do research whether or not and how teachers feel about this model when it comes to feedback giving on students' DMC. But I feel that at least this model can be used as a starting point, as a guidelines, right? So I welcome more research on this. Sorry. And then let's move on to priority number 5. So DMC assessment. So up to date, well, actually, when it comes to DMC assessment, there's only 2 models. There are only 2 models here, right? But we do need more innovative methods to evaluate DMC process and products. So we need a suite of assessment options that can be flexibly adjusted for different circumstances and contexts, right? So compared to the assessment rubrics that we have for L2 writing, right? we have so little for DMC. Okay, so that's why more research needs to be done. We need to conceptualize what is usually and actually that we are trying to assess, and also conceptualize the nature of DMC assessment with these frameworks, and then we can consider different approaches. Okay, so in specific, I mean, when it comes to developing assessment methods, we need to first of all ask the what of DMC assessment. We can reference back to the classical frameworks on the weak and strong versions of multimodality to highlight the content of DMC assessment. And also, there's one recent study contributed by Mimi Lee on visual meta discourse. This offers another kind of perspective for us to visualize how a strong version of multimodality can be actualized when it comes to, that means we can focus on visual meta discourse in multimodal conversations. And then in terms of how, so we reference back to assessment of learning, as learning, and for learning, the three major assessment paradigms, and then to determine the purpose and principles of DMC assessment, evaluate different methods, and then so in what ways can this be used to evaluate DMC, and then what methods are needed to integrate this into DMC assessment? I recommend three major approaches for this assessment method development, like top-down, bottom-up, and situated approach. Top-down, we can reference to existing framework, and then bottom-up, we can invite students to co-design assessment methods, and a situated approach that we can look into practice, right? Particularly those very good teachers with exemplar practice, we can learn from them. Sorry, 3 more minutes. Okay, so then 2 more priority areas to go. Collaborative DMC as translanguaging space. This is something very fascinating to me, and is grounded in existing literature on collaborative writing. So I feel we have been informed by the literature that translanguaging is very powerful and transformative, and then in multilingual classroom, translanguaging spaces to be created. But the issue is how. We don't really know how, right? And also, even though we also have some works on collaboration or collaborative DMC, but we don't really know who collaborates with whom, right? So how to construct such a space for more inclusive and equitable learning among students of different backgrounds is an issue. So I feel this is super important, and also offers a way to link DMC research with translanguaging research, and also with collaborative writing research. To carry on research along this line, first of all, we should have a critical stance, okay? And then we should rely on intervention study, design-based studies, and also collaborative action research for this. I personally enjoyed reading this study on collaborative multilingual bookmaking. So this is a good example to show that through DMC, different learners' equitable participation in classrooms can be created. So I feel more studies along this line can be conducted. And then finally, so there's a critical digital literacy area. This is gonna be super important. I would say so. But limited research has been done. We all know that, well, nowadays in TESOL, digital literacy is being highlighted as a very important goal. So there's a very important need to explore how such a goal can be achieved. And my argument is DMC offers a very great potential to achieve such a goal because it affords chances for social justice-oriented digital activism and civic participation. And so we need more research, right? This is so like the influence, the impact of this upon digital literacy learning and development through classroom-based intervention are needed. So first of all, we need to conceptualize what we mean by this, right? For such purpose, I strongly encourage you to read this article, okay? So this is very, very eye-opening and illuminating, and also it's written in reader-friendly language. It explained very clearly with very concrete examples to show what we mean by digital literacy as a logical and also social, cultural, critically oriented practice. Okay, so this is quite helpful for us to conceptualize what we mean by critical digital literacies. And then some other studies like this one also offers a good study point because it shows that students can exercise their citizenship behavior, such as civic participation, and paying more attention to social civic activities and then social well-beings, and being equity-oriented in their language curriculum. So this is really significant, and it is possible for us to, if we make up the link, right? I'm sorry, I couldn't help coughing, and I hope it won't influence your listening. So then the concluding remarks, I have to declare, right? So this is a well, collaborative work with Christopher and May, and the research task highlighted here are by no means exhaustive of all the possible directions. Of course, there are different, well, scholars have different perceptions. But we feel these priority areas really are what are really essential and critical next steps that we should going on. And then personally, I also hope to inspire more novice researchers and also doctoral students to embark on DMC projects so that we can move this promising area forward. I welcome your comments and questions, and I also welcome anyone interested to join the DMC research team at Hong Kong U. So you can email me. Thank you very much. I will stop sharing now.